Hello everyone! What is the list of video games on consoles accessible to blind people and therefore accessible to visually impaired people? That's what we're going to see here for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Switch. There are 1,000 ways to be visually impaired, but in principle, a game accessible to a blind person is also accessible to a visually impaired person. So let's focus today on games that can be played independently from start to finish by the blind. There may be omissions in this list, so please feel free to send us your comments. Let's start with PlayStation 5 games. Obviously, there are The Last of Us Remake and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, the explosive narrative adventures of survival and horror in a cruel world filled with zombies. Navigation assistant, aim assist, high-quality voice narrator, screen reader, audio description, sound signals, fine adjustments of difficulty, and various settings. Everything is there. It's the AAA accessibility experience on console. Note, these two games address violent and dark themes. There is also Mortal Kombat 1, a versus fighting game, gore, and very complete. It is the most accessible fighting game to date, and it continues to receive accessibility patches. It notably includes audio description, a menu narrator, and tons of audio signals in battles. Unfortunately, the narrator does not work well if the console language is not English. Next, we have Brock the Investigator. This game from the French studio Cowcat Games mixes ultra-narrative adventure game and scrolling fighting game. The hero will conduct a multifaceted investigation in a futuristic world populated by hybrid, half-human, half-animal beings. Menus, dialogues, puzzles, combat. Everything is accessible, including a screen reader and audio description. The numerous voices are in English. The texts are offered in different languages, but only on PC. It is possible to vocalize them in a language other than English. There are also series of sports games from Electronic Arts known to be accessible to blind people. These are the latest versions of NHL Hockey and Madden NFL for American football. Now let's move on to Xbox Series, whose catalog is the most extensive for blind players. First we have Forza Motorsport 8, a circuit racing game demanding but ultra-accessible AAA. It includes various driving assistance options, a menu narrator, audio description, etc. It is simply the most accessible racing game. The game is available on Xbox and PC. The flight simulation game Flight Simulator benefits from a screen reader, in English only. It is supposed to be accessible. As Dusk Falls is an excellent dramatic interactive film, realistic and leading the player to various moral choices. Menus and choices are narrated. The few scenes of searching and action have been made perfectly accessible. This game should be enriched in 2024 with what it lacked. Audio description. Brock the Investigator and Mortal Kombat 1 are also available on Xbox. Games that we have already presented for PlayStation 5. There are also two independent games 100% audio without graphics. It's great for diversity to find them on consoles intended to be connected to screens. A Western drama is a spaghetti Western ambiance game with super nice music and a very successful atmosphere. There are dueling phases, horse races, shootouts, cults. You can almost smell the gunpowder in your nose. It is very successful. There are also some infiltration scenes. Then we have the game The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. It's a small adventure game with progression, with real-time combat. We embody a blind princess in a heroic fantasy world. These two independent audio games end in approximately 5 hours. They cannot compete in content and technical qualities with higher budget games, but they are successful and provide a good time. As for PlayStation 5, there are also Madden NFL and NHL Hockey for sports enthusiasts, which are reputed to be accessible. Now let's move on to the Switch. Note, unlike the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, Nintendo's console is not directly accessible to blind people. That is to say, you cannot buy or install digital games or change console settings on your own if you are blind, because there is no console screen reader. Otherwise, you can play Mortal Kombat 1, Broke the Investigator, and a Western drama on Switch, which we have already discussed. And finally, we have Alt Frequency. You play a radio operator who will conduct a small investigation. The gameplay is very particular because the adventure takes place in the world of radio. The only thing you can do in the game is change radio frequency, but in doing so, you will be able to follow a small investigation and solve puzzles. A handful of hours is enough to finish it, but it's not bad with a very qualitative sound atmosphere. So, what are you waiting for to go play? My name is Mehdi Smail Berahal. I'm a blind gamer passionate about video games and their accessibility. I love informing, raising awareness, and supporting people on this subject. Don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon, and I'll get back to my video game accessibility watch.